Hey everybody, this is Chris McCabe, most recently of the Seller Velocity Conference. I'm with Martin Zerrudo of Quartile, one of our sponsors for the Seller Velocity Conference. How you doing today, Martin?
Good. How are you, Chris? Where are you calling in from?
I'm in Hawaii. I'm going
Just
to
casually drop that in there, right?
got my Kauai shirt on because I'm heading to Kauai pretty much as soon as we finish this recording.
Okay,
So,
I promise. 2 minutes tops, and then we can go
$1 billion Seller Summit is this week or this coming week, so I'm heading up
and
there.
it's there in Hawaii?
Yeah, it's in Hawaii, so it's
fantastic.
Amazon related conference, as you know from sponsoring Seller Velocity. We
For sure.
are big into the brand and Amazon brand event space, but also I wanted to talk to you about things that I'm sure Quartile teams talk to brands that attended our conference, which was 2 short weeks ago, feels like a year.
Right.
But in terms of the kinds of questions you're getting from brands, the kind of pain points they talk to you about, the kinds of solutions you offer.
For sure.
I want to give you the floor to kind of cover some of that and some of the solutions. I mean, brands are hungry for solutions for all kinds of stuff right now.
Absolutely.
So,
so first of all, Chris, thank you so much for giving us the chance to talk. I know I think either we sponsored it, and I know we had some reps over there, but at the end of the day, getting the opportunity to just talk about how we can help brands and sellers, and anybody in the space that's looking for the right tech partner is always, very much welcome. So I appreciate the time, especially since you're in paradise and I'm taking you away from that. So I'm cognizant of that for sure.
Yep.
For those who haven't heard or called Quartile, we're a company that's been around for about 6 or 7 years. It was actually founded by our CEO, Daniel. He's born in Brazil from a family that's very much steeped in, I think, a data engineering background. I think their family owned a data engineering firm. And then they eventually, through a couple of other Brazilian co-founders, founded Quartile. And really, in recent news, we've been featured on the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, and the success and the attention we've been garnering really is around our proprietary bid tech and our algorithm around machine learning, AI, and the optimization of your bids through the integration of AMS. So that's really where we get a lot of our attention and a lot of the buzz around what Quartile is and what we do well. Of course, we do more than just Amazon ads. It's Google, Instacart, Walmart, Criteo, Bank, so on and so forth. But primarily, since we're talking about Amazon, I want to say maybe 60-70% of our ad spend that we manage is through Amazon.
Yeah. Our clients tend to be 90-something% selling on Amazon and single digits on other platforms or on their own website, depending on what they might have. Loyal customers going to their website that predates going on Amazon. It depends on how long they've been on Amazon. But so I mean, the conference, we had a lot more 9-figure brands than I was planning on seeing. A few of them came towards the end, right before we did the conference day 1, or they came to the VIP day 2. But we had a lot of mid 8-figure brands as well. There were a lot of people established in the space.
Right.
The AI topic, of course, is all over LinkedIn. It's hot. It's at every conference. It definitely came up at Seller Velocity. But what do you are you cautioning people from investing their time, energy, resources in the wrong area of discussion around AI? Or are you telling people to try different things? Because what you don't try today, you might have to try tomorrow when your competitors are way better at it. What do you give for guidance?
Great question. I was actually at a conference last week, I think. I'm slowly forgetting time and space. I just had a newborn. He's 2 months old, and all the days are blending together. But I was in Seattle a couple of days ago, and I was at a conference, and Jeff Cohen actually was there. He's the tech evangelist for Amazon, and he was a keynote, and we spoke right after him, and the conversation really was around, choosing the right tech partner, and the question about AI came up. And I think it's important right now for us in e-commerce to recognize that the adoption of AI is not localized just to e-commerce. It's happening across a wide variety of sectors. I know somebody who is making money hand over fist because I think they automated and they utilized a licensed version of ChatGPT to create an avatar of themselves for dating apps so that you can kind of pre-filter people that you're messaging based off of your own personal large language model for how you would interact with these potential partners. And then it'll, I guess, based off whatever settings you put, will filter out the ones that you actually want to talk to as a human being. So
imagine cornering the market on the dating apps. Like, talk about I imagine there's. I haven't been on dating apps in quite a while, but I imagine there's a large market for that out
Exactly.
there.
Same. And it's like, hey, it's like, why use a fishing rod to catch a fish when you can use a net? And it's like, well, now why can't you use automation, which is like you're using like a
Yeah,
gigantic like steam engine boat or whatever that's just like capturing the whole ocean of fish, which is
and
insane.
and Amazon is tinkering with AI themselves. Like we could have
Yeah.
a whole
Oh yeah,
conversation
generative AI
about.
images and so on and so forth.
Yeah, that's all
So
shaken out. It must be an exciting time for you guys, but also if people are overly dependent on some of these tips and tricks. I mean, I'm not saying that's true of AI or even of what you
mhm,
do every day,
right.
but in our consulting, in our field, we see people consistently looking for shortcuts or, what are the recent seller hacks or whatnot. So,
Right, exactly. I think,
um,
and when that question came up, my answer was, just be aware of who is providing the solution. So, for example, Quartile's been around for 7 years. The
mhm,
algorithm and the machine learning is proprietary. The patents are based in the States. I believe it's 6 patents around
mhm,
the algorithm, the machine learning, the AI. So at least you know it's legit, and at least you know it's owned by the service provider that wants to work with you. I think the caution or the danger is that because there's so many services out there that
yeah,
either purport a legit AI, which is great, or maybe a white label of another person's service, or pretend
yeah,
AI that's really more like rules. It's dangerous. It's
yeah,
dangerous because you don't know who you're getting into bed with. So I think the primary caution there and the fear is I don't understand the AI, and if I'm going to implement it, what is it going to do? Is it like a black box, and who's selling it to me?
yeah,
And thankfully, for Quartile and for other people in this space, we're not saying that we've cornered, machine learning in
right,
e-commerce, but
right,
I think what we've done in terms of the legacy of how long we've been around is we've garnered that trust. We have over 5,000 clients, 26 different countries. Obviously, the efficacy of the algorithm works, or else we wouldn't be around.
mhm,
And before really the whole emergence of ChatGPT and a lot of these large language models, Quartile's been doing algorithmic bidding for years, right? And it
yeah,
all started with the quartile single ASIN single keyword single match type approach, which we call quartile one. So
right,
I think at the end of the day, for anybody who's watching this and they're considering utilizing some sort of automation, I think you should embrace it. I think for those who are looking at is this going to be Skynet that's going to like take over the world? I don't
well,
think we're there yet. As much as some people in the space might want to say like, "Hey, if we keep going, it's going to kill us all." Like, I don't think so. I hope not. But in the sense of like,
yeah.
hey, can I use this automation at scale to make my bids more efficient? I think that's a safe bet versus world domination through robots. No, I don't
It's
think
a
we're there yet.
it's a combination of excitement and fear. Some people want to take advantage of new tools, new
For sure.
technology when it comes out, not make the wrong move, take the wrong step, cost themselves time, money, energy, whatever. But also, I mean, what I've seen with some AI, I mean, there's chatbots. We've had those for a while.
Hmm.
The example on LinkedIn is what I keep giving people. Not that this isn't direct parallel to
Of course, of
all,
course.
all of e-commerce or something
Right.
that's heavily technical, but we post on LinkedIn a lot, and a lot of the responses I get are clearly machine written,
Generated through chat.
generated through ChatGPT, and it's like, well, you know, and sometimes by the same people. And it's just like, that's not the way to put your best foot forward in the
No,
public eye, because
no.
ultimately there's trust.
Right,
It
right,
all
right.
comes back to trust and reputation.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So people want to know, I mean, it impacts your reputation, I think, negatively if every time you're commenting on LinkedIn, it's obviously a chat message.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you hit the nail on the head. Like whether it's automation or a new way of doing your listings or a new way of positioning your product and differentiating yourself, like there are always going to be small hacks or shortcuts, and there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing to say that there's wrong with that, but I wouldn't build a foundation of a brand and an overall strategy for how you would grow long term over a short term mindset or shortcut way
Right.
of leveraging something new. If you're going
Yeah.
to look at implementing automation, it really should be in the lens of like, how can this help me 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 12 months from now? Because to your point, if you're getting a lot of traction and hits on social media because I'm leveraging, chat GPT and like, great. And then eventually people are like, hey, this is all like not your voice. And then in six
Yeah.
months, 12 months, there goes your online credibility, your brand equity. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
So I think that's very cognizant. It's very true.
So how do you have these starter conversations? Do you have like audits, consults? Do you tell
Yeah.
people we're
So
going to
when we
build
have
some
brands,
structure and then modify as we go? Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, no. That's a great
Yeah.
question. And when we have conversations with brands or agencies that want to work with us, we put it in the context of, everybody starts at the bottom, which is manual. Of course, you go on there, you create your ads, you go through the ad console.
Hmm.
Once you've gotten to the point where you need to start creating some rules, then you graduate to something that allows you to create some of these rules based optimizations and automations, which is great. Once you want to go beyond that, is really where implementing a tech partner like Quartile makes sense, because we can still create rules on our platform, which is fine. But at the end of the day, what we do is we remove the need for human intervention like every single day and every
Hmm.
single hour. We remove the chance for human subjectivity and assumption to make the wrong rule or to make the wrong conditions for something to happen when it comes to your bids or your budget or your placement. And then we allow you to scale some of the campaigns that you're creating, or all of the campaigns you're creating, depending on your ad budget and what
Right.
your target ACOS is or your goals are, or whatever.
Yeah.
So once you graduate from, okay, I've maxed out the rules, I think I can do more. It's just I don't want to hire 90 VAs to be looking
Yeah.
at this thing hourly, and
Yeah.
I don't want to pay an agency $1 million every single month to do all this stuff manually. And I'm not saying those things are bad. There are some
Hmm.
agencies that are like, hey, we're going to be manual until the cows come home, and it's like cool. Everybody has their own business model, and
Yeah.
if it works well, it works well. But for us,
Right.
we think about it like, okay, if you're ready to graduate to something that's more automation based, step one, let's import your campaigns. So we don't have
Hmm.
to change anything. All of your legacy campaigns that are already running, we can import them. It takes about 48 hours to migrate that data.
Right.
From there, we can slowly turn on certain features of the automation, whether it's hourly bidding or negating keywords or so on and so forth. And it's not so much a black box because you can actually see what AI features you're turning on and turning off. And then through our platform, we can actually show them what are the changes that are happening every single week. So you have full
Hmm.
transparency of what the algorithm is doing. And then on top of that, if you want to try the single ACE and single keyword, single match type, quartile campaign structure philosophy, you can do that as well. So I think when we have these conversations with sellers and brands, the way that we kind of deter or kind of answer that fear of like, what is the automation going to do, is really showing them the flexibility of the
Yeah.
platform. We can keep doing what you're already doing. We can layer in the bid tech slowly as you ramp up. And if you want to try our campaign approach, you can do that as well. It's very flexible.
Do they ever say like, I don't want to start this process or use this unless I'm going to have an immediate impact? Like right now, today, this week, I'm going to see a difference. Or do they just have conversations with some other tool out there where they just say, yeah, we can get this all set up within 24 hours. You're going to see a difference
Right.
within a week. Is there a lack of patience kind of,
Oh, for sure. And I think that's
yeah,
what we find with any kind of agency or service provider is like everybody wants to sign up, they pay for it, and they want the results like the next day, right?
like the next
Um,
day? Yeah.
yeah. For what we do, we're very transparent. It takes the algorithm about 4 to 6 weeks to really find that
Okay.
sweet spot. After that 4 to 6 weeks is really where you see the magic happen. Whenever I do these discoveries, I have a slide that shows that instead of kind of cherry picking one or two case studies where we crushed it, we pulled together like over 2,500 Amazon accounts. And the
Mm-hmm.
question, we just asked the one question: what happens 4 months after they implement our bidding technology? And in the first month, predictably, there's a slight dip in the ROAS because it takes the algorithm a little bit of time to learn.
Right.
Now, if we were to pause there and say, "Oh my God, look at that first month, all the stuff is going down," then that's where you can get some of the brands and the seller owner, or sellers and brand owners who are like,
Yeah.
"This isn't working for me." And for us, we try and be as very transparent. You got to give it time, because once you hit month
Four
two, three,
weeks wouldn't be
four,
enough. No.
no, it's
No.
definitely not. And so, not that we're not open to having those conversations, but we want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure we're qualifying each other. There are other tools and services out there that will maybe make one or two adjustments to your ads that are very cost effective. And if you want to see an immediate improvement, great. And maybe that's the right partner for you. But definitely wouldn't be the same as being able to scale ads efficiently the way that Quartile does. Like that's a completely different scenario with a completely different set of goals. And if those are the goals that you're looking for to be able to efficiently scale your ads, then this is the route you would definitely want to take. And it takes time.
Yeah, it does take time. So
Hmm.
just really had one other question for you
Sure.
today. You mentioned Jeff Cohen.
Yeah.
I've known Jeff. I think I met him 2015, so
Oh,
almost 10
nice.
years ago in my early
Prior
days
to
as
him
a
joining
consultant.
Amazon.
Yeah. Oh, way
Yeah.
before, way before. And that just made me think to ask you, what does Amazon think? What's without getting into too much detail, what's your
Sure.
relationship
Sure.
directly with them? But what do they think of Quartile, your tools, the possibilities? What kind of in a general way, what kind of discussions do you have with them in terms of coordinating, skill sets and tools and resources in general for the betterment of all brands and stakeholders in the Amazon marketplace?
Totally not a loaded question, Chris. I appreciate it. But you know what? First of all, yeah, Jeff, I finally got a chance to meet him in person in Seattle. We had dinner with the sponsors for that event.
Yep.
Really, really insightful guy. For me, I'm just starting to kind of branch out and be more of a familiar face in the Quartile space in times talking about and evangelizing what we do. Obviously, Jeff's been doing it for a while, and he provided some really great insights about, the right way to speak with authenticity about what Amazon ads can do, what Quartile ads can do, and I think I'm kind of taking that path towards how to really get our voice out there in that vein. Having said that, in terms of our relationship, I was in the Chicago office for Amazon like a month ago, or in the Seattle office a week ago. We're going to the DC office, in 2 weeks, and then we're going to go to the LA office in June. So we have a really great relationship with Amazon, and how we leverage that for our clients. If you actually go to advertising.amazon.com, you type in Quartile or you type in Amazon Marketing Stream. I think either the first or second hit is going to be a case study about how we helped co-develop Amazon Marketing Stream with Amazon. And so we have a very intimate understanding of how that information is getting received, because we were there at the very beginning to kind of help be part of that closed beta to see the efficacy of AMS tied into our bid algorithm and our integration to AMS through that relationship and that development of AMS. And it was very successful. So for us, we're able to speak with confidence because we can say, hey, look, our algorithm has been around a lot longer. And as you know, for any kind of large language model or any kind of algorithm that's learning, the longer it's learning, the more smarter it is. Mm-hmm. So I'd like to say that Quartile is like 7 years ahead of the competition that's getting into the space right now. And not to say that none of those guys are good or gals are good, but we've been around the longest, or at least one of the longest. Number two, our tech is integrated into the technology that Amazon rolled out, which is AMS, which is something very unique for us. And number three, as they continue to expand new functionalities and features, we plug that into our system as well. And we like to consider ourselves a leader in this space in terms of automation and AI. And you know what? At the end of the day, behind all this talk about algorithms and bidding and AI, it's human beings that are creating this. Daniel, really nice guy. I messaged him. We share pictures of our kids. We have over 350 people in the company. A lot of people.
You have that many? I didn't even know. Yeah.
Yeah, head office is in New York. Grand Central Station is right beside where our main office is. We have an office in Philly, 2 offices in Brazil, an office in Miami. Like, really great people. Today we had like a get to know you happy hour thingy at 12 o'clock. We're all talking about our interests and what makes us different. Right. So, to kind of like buttress the whole conversation, like automation is not a scary thing so long as you're talking to authentic and genuine people, and know that the right tech partner will always let you know what's happening in the background. That it's not just like, hey, trust us with everything and we'll let you know what happens at the end of the month. It has to be a concerted conversation about what your goals are and how we as humans can leverage the AI to accomplish the things that we can't at scale.
Great note to end on. I appreciate it.
I hope that makes sense.
It does. It makes sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to anyone, if anyone has any questions for you, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, just email me, martin.zerrudo@quartile.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Martin Zerrudo, as well. It's a picture of me leaning on a balcony where I was much younger and much thinner, so I'm going to pretend that's still what I look like. But yeah, that's where you can find me for sure. And hey, Chris, great job with this interview. Love doing these kind of things, and more power to getting the word out and helping people just trying to find the right tech partner and achieving their goals on Amazon.
We can do this again. These are meant to kind of be brief conversations with all of our sponsors, of course, but we can always do a longer video and go into more questions. Honestly, the AI stuff, I don't have a technical background, so to me it's fascinating in ways that it might not be to people intimately familiar, but this topic is hot. It's not going away.
No,
you and I are going to be talking about it again. I'm sure I'll see Daniel or Silvio, or I'll be talking to everybody at Quartile about this again.
Definitely.
Thanks again for your support for the
conference. Of course. Enjoy Hawaii. Are you going to be at Accelerate? We'll see you there.
In September. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
I just got off a call with Amazon about Accelerate.
Perfect.
So we will be
all right. You'll get the first invite to our happy hour for sure.
Sweet. I can't wait.
All right,
thanks again
so
for joining me. And thanks for everybody for listening. Any questions, just let us know.